key element of a signing of an MOU between Ugu South Coast Tourism and the South Coast Development Agency is that within legislation, each district has to have its own development agency, and I'm sure Tina will be able to expand on that shortly. But we felt that because development agencies cover a broad spectrum of sectors, which includes tourism, there was a need to define perhaps our roles and responsibilities as separate entities, and in particular in terms of collaborative exercises from the point of view of tourism. As you know, within our organization we have a general manager of development, and we have certain strategies that are developmentally orientated, but they may or may not have significance in terms of a much bigger picture, and that is to say, to try and source sufficient investment in tourism projects specifically, which we anticipate being elevated within the development agency, so that when we put our prospectus out and also perhaps attend investment conferences and things like that, we have our ducks in a row, and then we can present it rather than duplicating costs, duplicating personnel, and duplicating perhaps our effort. So the purpose of this, and it was at the request of the municipal manager of our parent, which is the Ugu District Municipality, that we find this common ground, and we've gone through a process to prepare this Memorandum of Understanding, so that going forward, I think collectively and independently, we're on the right page. In the interim, we have also undertaken an initial exercise to try and see what initiatives of a tourism nature are sitting with the development agency. We are then collating that with some of our RDP elements, and then we'll get our heads together to see if any of these presently have any merit in being elevated to a specific investment sourcing exercise. I know that Tina may have information on one or two projects that do have, shall we say, a higher echelon of importance as opposed to some of the work that's done with us, which is more grassroots, rural development type of stuff, as opposed to perhaps the high profile type of project that come into play. Tina, would you agree perhaps?
Yes. Particularly on the issues of not to duplicate with our resources. We've got lots of projects that we are busy packaging them, and these were really came out from the strategy session that we had, where we identify some strategic areas that we should partner on for the next 5 years. So we are looking these arrangements as a way of getting those areas and ensure that the tourism as a sector is growing in the South Coast.
Okay, once you sign it, the practical situation, what's step number one after that?
Well, step number one is, I think I mentioned it earlier on, we have done an initial exercise to see what projects are out there. And there are one or two which I think are going to be announced shortly, which are even at a high echelon, that even at district level. And once those are announced through the MEC's office, then we will separate out what would be predominantly investor sourcing type projects, and those will be what would be called strategic projects, which we will continue to do through our general manager development. So it's skills development, it's mentorship, it's bringing in enterprise within small projects that we do, either events or whatever. So there's more of an inclusivity component to it, and working with our area committees. And we'll stick to those targets that we set for ourselves. But as I say, it's a case of sifting out the priority projects, which we can keep as an in-house and continuing set of assignments. Whereas some of them, as I said before, will be elevated to development agency, and then one or two will actually probably have national prerogatives and national priorities.
And obviously, regular contact, meetings.
Yeah, certainly within our targets, internal targets, we've set up a number of meetings that we anticipate to have during the year with the development agency, just as feedback exercises, either sitting on project steering committees in some instances, where we sit on a particular tourism-related project which is sitting with the development agency, or vice versa. And then on that basis, making sure that the communication levels are there. I mean, already we've been attending joint meetings, and we've got another one coming up shortly as well, which is the Medina-related initiative. So yeah, our boardrooms will have joint sittings, and not necessarily on boards, but certainly sitting in boardrooms and having meetings to make sure that the local economic development officers and local municipalities are part and parcel of the process. I don't think we want to work within silos. So it's very much that collaborative sort of process involving the stakeholders, particularly at the local municipality level.